How far are we from the stairs? From the, the one entrance?
Oh, 40, 50 feet.
We could try to book it. It's pretty far.
I think that's kind of what we got. I mean, I can disguise myself. It doesn't help for you.
I was gonna say, like, you've closed the door right now, so
Yes.
we can't even just go back in there.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the situation that Chris just said as soon as we closed it.
All right. Well, we can hope it's Wooster coming back.
Wait. So I closed it with Mage Hand. Did it relock?
Well,
Can you try the door again with Mage Hand to open it?
You might as well try that at this point because we're not going to make it to the door.
I know, and I imagine they're not going to try the door because of the electrical shock, so...
It might be worth to try it really. I mean, you have seconds.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I haven't, like, removed my casting of Mage Hand yet.
When you try to turn the handle with your Mage Hand, it does turn, and you watch a whole bunch of electricity course through your Mage Hand.
Whoa! I'm like, should have done that to begin with. I don't say it.
Does it dissipate the
panicking.
Mage Hand, though, or does it...
I'm going to rule yes, even though Mage Hands don't technically have like hit points. To me, this is jarring enough that, I don't think a level 1 spell survives this.
In the beginning, too. Like, could it have even worked?
Yeah,
it sounds like no.
True.
So that makes me feel a little better.
Same.
Well, I put my hand on my holster and I say, like... I say nothing, I guess, actually.
Are we running?
We can start moving towards the door, but we're not going to make it in time, so... Yeah, let's start walking.
At least have an exit plan. At least we're not going to be cornered if we run over there.
Yeah, true.
All right, I'm going to draw my rapier as well as we run.
And from the elevator steps Connor Dryden.
God!
How close are we to the door now?
I don't know, 15, 20 feet.
How close is he to the door?
About the same.
Oh, perfect. I'm going to keep running to the door and be like, oh, brother, we're just leaving. Good seeing you.
He gives you kind of a confused look, and as you're making your way towards the door, he says, I thought I was clear not to make mischief.
I don't think this is mischief.
Then why are you running?
I just don't really want to see you. I accomplished what we came here for, and you're an asshole, so we're going to be on our way. Cora's not here. She's really the one I wanted to see.
He laughs. He says, I could have told you as much. Saved you the trouble.
Well, you didn't, so here we are.
And this is a familiar look. It's almost like you think I don't know you. This is the look of, I've done something wrong and Father will notice.
Well, you have a look on your face of, oh, I finally have an excuse to be an asshole again, so I guess we're both just too predictable.
You see him kind of shake his head slowly. He's like, he kept telling me not to hurt anybody. He kept telling me to. He won't be pleased with me for this happening. But then again, if he's already going to be in a foul mood, I mean, what's a little worse, right?
Connor, you're not actually going to disobey Father, are you?
Oh my God! Isaac, no!
Oh no.
He looks at you and he says, I don't know, seems to be working out pretty well for you so far. And he's charging towards you now as well. You are ahead of him by a few steps if you want to continue into the stairwell.
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. And I am.
I'm trying to think. So the stairs, do the stairs,
Oh, God.
they don't have any like locks or anything on them, right? At least the door to the stair.
No.
Because they probably would have been locked before.
No, because that's a fire code safety hazard too. Elevator's broken. There's a fire. Doors are locked. Everyone burns to death.
See?
my father's lawful evil.
It's starting to look that way, isn't it?
Just
Uh,
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to say we keep running. I don't know if this is just an extended like, I don't know how this works, but
Let me look at one thing real quick.
okay.
I know it's riveting for the viewer who's like, what's going to happen? And I'm like, hold on. Just 1 second. I think we're going to turn this escape into a mini skill challenge.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Just so you know, it occurred to me to like pull a gun and fire, but like for whatever it's worth to the rest of the group or the viewer, like even Isaac has reservations about shooting his brother. So
What if he deserves it, though?
he does deserve it. I hate the guy, but
So, let's start with an athletics check from the two of you as you make your way down the stairs in this side room that leads down.
This is gonna be just.
do you want to know what's fun? I have no more luck too.
Oh,
That's
no.
correct.
If the stairs have a...
Natural 20. I am getting the fuck out.
Can you?
Grail teleports out of the house.
Grail picks me up on her shoulders.
She carries you in her arms like she's carrying you over the threshold.
13,
Okay.
which is not nothing, but it's not a crit.
I guess the question is, where are you headed before we go any further here?
I mean, so
I figured down. The stairs don't go up.
my original plan was to go back through, the entrance, make sure we weren't seen. Obviously, there's not the secret entrance, not a huge reason to do. Well, if we can get into his room, my uncle's room, and lock the door and get through the entrance, that might at least buy us enough time. It might expose that secret entrance, which would suck, but that might get us what we need to get out and not have to deal with any guards and kind of get us some separation from him.
Yeah. So I don't actually know the order here because they're pretty narrow stairs, right? So like, was I going first? Were
You
going
were ahead
first?
of me.
Well, these
Yeah.
aren't as narrow. Like they're not. This isn't like the secret entrance path where the
Oh,
single file
right.
only.
This is
These
like
are
getting
more
back
open.
down to the hall that has my room and his room.
Yeah, it's not like a huge space, but these are meant to be traversed by like multiple people. It's not just like a tight staircase. Now it's still a relatively confined area, but
So I am ahead of you, Isaac.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quickly, as I'm doing it, I'm gonna cast a message and ask where we're going because I don't want you to be shouting this to your brother.
And so I can just return it, right?
Yes.
In my
Yes.
head.
yeah, you get
Uh,
one response, I think, right?
Where we came
Yes.
in. I
Okay.
have a plan.
Okay.
Okay. So now that we have that destination set, let's roll back to the athletics check. You guys dart into the stairwell, moving a little quicker once you see Connor headed your direction. Whose thumping footsteps kind of convey just the heft that he carries. Not fat, just bulk. He's swole. Grail, with surprising speed, basically like flips across one side of the banister to save some time. And
Yep.
Isaac, you're keeping pace fairly well, but Grail gets ahead a little bit because she sees an opening and goes like whoosh, and jumps down the other side.
Can I slide on the banister?
Sure.
Cool.
She's still faster.
Oh, yeah, by a lot.
Yeah. As you guys then round the corner and head down to where the door is to the next floor below, you hear a loud slamming noise as the door is flung open.
I was going to
into the
say, I
stairwell.
do try to slam it behind me,
Yeah.
so that was good.
And
okay.
he has to slow down for just a moment, but and you can hear it like it sounds like he hits the door with something, and it just flies open and hits the wall behind it. And as you guys get to the door below, you can start to hear footsteps at the stairs at the top.
I am going to, like, as I'm running, I'm going to grab into my pocket, pull out my ball bearings, and just throw them all over the floor.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Am I past the point
Yeah,
where you
that's
threw
what I
the
was
ball
going to
bearings?
ask.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to do it. He's
I
like,
figured.
Okay.
I'm going to,
Just
like,
checking.
Because you're ahead of him, so if you throw him on the floor.
Yeah, but, like, not
Whoa.
in the direction of which he came. So, like, he's coming up right behind me, and I'm going to go, like, on the side. But, like, shoom.
That's cool.
I'm not going to... Bye!
Yeah.
Just
Grail stabs me
boom, boom, boom,
so that
boom,
I'm
boom, boom.
weakened and she can get away.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
At least one of us will escape. All right, you guys make it down to the door to the floor below you, where you came in. Essentially, it's the wings with all the single rooms for every individual. Door opens as usual. You put the ball bearings behind you and start to, I'm assuming, run down the hallway
fast
towards.
as freaking possible.
Okay. I need you both to make a. Let's do a dexterity check. See how fast you go. I also need to know what the check is for the ball bearings.
What do I even use for that?
I mean, it should say on the item. I'll look it up.
You can hand me the player's handbook if you want.
Ugh, 8 dexterity, not the best.
Tiny metal balls. A DC 10 dexterity saving throw or fall prone. Okay. Well, that's a natural 15, so...
So he falls to his...
Yeah, his dexterity is -6. Which is impossible. He's just a statue. He can't move. You guys dart out into the hallway, making your way back to Isaac's uncle's bedroom to try and retrace your steps.
I had a 13 dexterity.
Okay. You kind of catch up with Grail at this point, maybe just a pace behind her. As she seems almost like because she's rushing, she's not going quite as quick as she normally could if she wasn't harried. Behind you, as you've gotten basically halfway down the hallway, you hear another thudding noise and a voice shout, "Son of a bitch!" as he as Connor kind of skids across the ball bearings, steadies himself, it slows him down for a second, and then flings that door open.
God.
Hey, it's as much time as we can get right now, and I'll take it.
I yell back, "What have you been eating?" He's so huge.
Pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
And then
You
we
eat
devolve
shit for
into
breakfast?
the Happy Gilmore.
Exactly. I'll see you in the parking lot. I need you guys to make a stealth check, please.
There's just kids coming out of the woodworks. They're just like, fight, fight, fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 20.
Bob Barker appears.
Dang, 26 and 22.
Okay. Using the low light of this area, though there is some light coming in from the windows in the hallway, you, as quickly as you can, dart into the room, and at the very least, you can have some confidence that he doesn't know exactly where you went. He knows which direction, but he may not be sure which room because you were so quick about it.
Okay.
So you may have bought yourself a little time with that.
I think about telling Grail, like, he has no reason to think we would go in this room, but I don't want to risk it, so I don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a lock on the door?
There is.
I'm going to just...
Okay. And then you guys are going to make your way to the secret entrance.
Yeah.
So you activate the switch on this side, pull the bookcase open. The door has slid open on the interior, revealing a completely dark staircase.
Oh, your sister's there.
Staring,
Cora!
unblinking.
Starts choking me. Okay, so...
Connor's there. You're like, what?
There were two Connors.
Two
There were
Connors.
clones. I'm going to still kind of speedily, but I want to close the bookshelf up, cover our tracks, as best we can. I'm not going to leave it wide open.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll have you both make a survival check.
Michelle, high five, dude. We're rocking this. 18 survival. Michelle, 15 survival.
Okay. You quickly close the bookcase, press the switch on the interior that you pushed on the way in so the metal panel slides closed.
Oh, God.
And start to make your way down the staircase, which is tough because these are small stairs, and even though neither of you are the most giant persons, it's still, you're rushing, you're worried about falling, but for the most part, you start to descend without difficulty. As you're starting to descend, you hear another loud thumping noise behind you. A natural 1.
Yay.
I thought it was a 7.
Oh.
It is not. It's a natural 1. You hear a repeated loud thumping noise behind you as it sounds like Connor is trying to shoulder tackle the door, but the lock is holding.
Yeah.
With a 1, he forgets we were ever here.
I had a brother.
Wait, what am I doing?
It's like the aggro enemies in like a Metal Gear Solid game where
Yeah.
you guys are out of range, so he just forgets and goes back to his routine.
Huh. Must have been nothing.
It's been the win.
Hearing the thumping, I have a small smile to myself.
And I'm going to cast a message again and just say, do you think we lost him?
So far, but I think we need to get far away from here to be sure.
All right. I'm trekking.
So you guys make your way around the spiral staircase, almost getting slightly dizzy from the speed at which you're descending it, but still not falling down or anything. Make it to the bottom. Slide open the panel there. And
Started
you are
from the bottom. Now we're back at the bottom.
here. And you are on the exterior of the Dryden Manor.
I would say let's dip into the shadows of like an alley or something. And no, you know what? That might even be too obvious. Just some shadows. Let's get out of here, but still stealthing away from the mansion.
Okay. Two of you make your way to the exterior of the grounds and then head back into Timberbrook proper, weaving your way through the streets best you can. Let's switch back to restaurant group.
Oh my! Still,
They have to decide on dessert. I'm just kidding.
they're
They've already
haggling
left,
over
but
the check.
yeah,
Nonsense. We've left already. We're in the
Yes, you
streets.
have left already. I was just like to imagine like they're struggling with all this and there's like high fraught tension. And you're like the tiramisu or the pie a la mode.
I like to think we're starting. Now, Leonard, should we like split the check?
Yeah.
Do we want to like combine the totals and then divvy it up, or do
Split
you want to
it.
just pay for yours? Or
This is when Karash suddenly has to go to the bathroom real fast. Just,
Split it 3 ways, split it 5 ways. What are we doing here?
yeah, should Isaac and Grail pay for? I mean, we didn't get them food after all. I mean, how do we? I don't know if I should pay for theirs.
They should pay us back later.
I mean, right.
You guys make your way to the train station, and let's see. We're going on almost 5 o'clock at this point. As sunlight starts to fade ever so slightly, sun approaches sunset. And what you're finding as you make your way over there, well-fed and contented overall, and not really dealing with any of the other high-strung nonsense anybody else is for the time being,
Yeah.
is that as you're heading in that direction, there are a lot of other people starting to join you. The flow of traffic is going your way, essentially, as you walk over there. And the majority of them are still clad in a lot of the same gear that you saw inside the restaurant. People who've been clearly working in the logging. Some people that have on, very dirty clothes that were probably in the mines with helmets on. This appears to be the end of the day for them. And as such, a lot of them are heading to the train station to head back to wherever it is they might be from. So basically, it's easy to make your way over there because everybody's headed that direction. There are not very many people headed towards the center of town at this time of day. It's mostly just heading to the train station at the far north. It does take a bit of time to walk there. Timberbrook's a big city. And you were in the southern half, and now you're heading to basically the far north exterior. So about 25, 30 minutes it takes to walk over there.
Yeah.
Along the way, I mean, the southwest area, as sort of mentioned, has a lot of houses. You don't see a whole lot in the way of shopping or anything like that there. It's pretty much just residential areas interspersed throughout that part of the city. Heading towards the north, off in the distance to the east as you're heading north, basically in the northeastern side. You can still see this from here, even though it would be a ways out of your way. What appears to be a pretty extensive open area district where commerce is happening. Even from here, you can kind of hear the faint like din and bustle and hustle over there. Like it's pretty noisy, and even from this distance, you can kind of hear the fact that it's bustling. Looks like a lot of different tents. From this distance, it's hard to make out a lot more, but you can even just see it because as you're walking, you can see it peeking in between. Like when you have an alleyway or an open street, you can just look to that direction and see like that covers a pretty hefty amount of ground. And then a few minutes later, you make your way to the train station. Here, because of the time of day as it's worked out, there's actually a train here. And people that you were walking alongside seem to show some kind of pass to the people at the gate, and they're all kind of starting to board the various cars of the train. And I mean, we're talking hundreds of people as you're walking through here. There does appear to be like a main ticket booth, as it were. There's some signs alongside it up on a corkboard. What would you like to do?
The signs. We'll go check those out real quick.
Okay.
It's right outside. Might as well just in the walk up.
Yeah, I'll follow you. I'm also like staring in awe at this train because I've never seen one before, and I'm just like, what is this? And I'm also asking you some, like, peppering some questions of like, how does that work? And yeah, a little excited.
So the trains effectively run every 3 hours from sunrise to sunset-ish. Then there's a more detailed schedule that we're not going to get into because I don't care if you know the train leaves at 5:16. I don't give a shit. But the basic gist you get from looking this over, checking the routes, looking at the timing and whatnot, is that trains seem to come and go about every 3 hours. Because of its M-like shape, where there's like this main west to east thoroughfare and then the 3 branches that go south, if you're trying to go on one of those sections on the west-east strip, there's basically a train every hour because all kinds of trains are coming through there as they go to different destinations that are to the south. Whereas the southern areas like Timberbrook, like Lycidian, although Lycidian's schedule is more frequent, and Hope's End have less frequent just because there's fewer trains splintering off there specifically. But even so, like Timberbrook and Lycidian especially have multiple trains a day you can safely gather from looking at it.
Is there a stop between Timberbrook and Zonebridge?
There is.
Or does it go, or is like Zonebridge even a stop? Like, what is the stop?
Zonebridge is a stop.
It is a stop.
Yes.
Okay.
There are a couple of stops in between each of the major ones. Cities you don't recognize because nobody's really been up this way. But there are essentially 2 stops between Timberbrook and Zonebridge, 2 stops between Zonebridge and Still Valley, and 1 stop between Still Valley and Waychester, and 1 stop between Waychester and Hope's End. There's nothing between Zonebridge, well, the area between Zonebridge and Still Valley and Lycidian that appears to be like a direct route because of how many people go there.
Okay.
So there are multiple stops on the way, and you're kind of gathering just from looking at the schedule. Again, not that we're going to delve into the metrics of trains, but
yeah.
Most of these workers you're seeing probably live no further than Zonebridge. Because the time it's going to take to get there would be maybe, it depends on the time of day and whatnot, but maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. Any further than that just feels like it would, if you go to Still Valley, it's going to be like a 3-hour trip both ways, and at that point, what's it really worth? So you're guessing that most of these people maybe live along the way or in Zonebridge somewhere, and they can just take the train over here rather than trying to find work in their own smaller communities.
Well, then Tessian will at the very least point out, like, kind of go up to the map and show Lena that, like, you know, this is, us here in Timberbrook, and then it runs up here. I'm thinking that we book a ticket to Zonebridge and see if we can just move up to the next major stop and then try to judge how things are from there.
Yes, I think that makes sense. And I'm just kind of studying the map with my hand to my chin and just trying to get a sense of it. Yeah.
And then I guess Tessian's like, well, if that's what we're thinking of doing, we should consider getting tickets, although I'm not sure. Karash, how long do you think you're going to want to stay here? If we find your companions tomorrow, are you going to want a day or a week with them? I'll be honest, I don't know how long we're going to have, given what Isaac and Grail are up to, but we're here for you at the very least.
I do not know. I assume that whomever we meet is just more Mysterian, so I would guess I would just speak with them for a while.
Very well, then. Perhaps the latest train in the day, then? Tomorrow?
Yes.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
We'll go up to the ticket booth. basically, whatever the equivalent is.
Okay.
Oh God. I just did some. Nope, don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, no, sure, it's fine. What could it be?
Couldn't possibly be a problem.
At the booth is a heavier set woman, half elf looking from just a quick pass. They're never entirely sure. Half elf. She looks middle aged, and she looks annoyed.
Well, Tessie puts on his best smile and approaches it as like, "Oh, hello, ma'am."
She is working on some kind of ledger in front of her, writing things one side, turning to the other, writing. So as you approach, she doesn't even look up to acknowledge you, but she says, "Yes, what'll it be?"
Yes, we'd like to book 5 tickets to Zone Bridge for the latest departure tomorrow.
She kind of like nods to herself. She's still writing, one side, other side. As she's doing this, occasionally reaches over, gets a stamp, goes, stamps something.
As you do.
Yeah. She says, "All right, the 8 o'clock to Zone Bridge. Let's see, 5 you said."
Yes, ma'am. 5.
Let's see, so 4 gold apiece. 20 gold, please.
Tessie ponies up.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pricey, but it's also speedy.
Well-
Imagine making the same journey via horse. You would kill the horses. That's right. She looks up long enough to receive your money, counts it briefly,
Yeah.
reaches over into a drawer, pulls out 5 tickets, 8 o'clock, departing to Zone Bridge, hands them to you.
Mm-hmm.
At least at this point, especially since you seem to be relatively no nonsense about this, she finally sort of like acquiesces and looks up your way as she hands them to you. Doesn't seem like she's a bad person. Just seems like this time of day especially is not the time for bullshit questions
Right, exactly.
from people who are not used to this route. But she hands them to you. She says, "All right, here you go. Anything else you need?"
Then Tessie kind of looks back to Lena and Crash real quick, and if they don't say anything,
I just thank her for her service, and then I look back at Tessie and just kind of give him a nod.
and Tessie's like, "That'll be all, ma'am. Have a good day."
She kind of gives you a nod. She says, "All right, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow."
He nods, and we kind of walk away, and Tessian's like, "Well, I suppose that's it. I guess we should keep an eye out, perhaps back at the inn, wait for Isaac and Grail to hopefully arrive in one piece."
Yes, I hope they haven't gotten themselves into too much trouble.
Well,
Hey, Chris, while we're buying the tickets, I'm going to eyeball around to see if anybody looks like they're following us or watching us.
Okay, make me a reception check.
Oh, God, but I need to know where my buttons are. Go away, notes. Big 14.
This is a pretty big throng of people. As mentioned, this seems to be train central here, and you're imagining that, especially how spaced out they are, like the time in between, other than like the half hour or so of bustle, must not be like this, but you're in the thick of it, as it turns out, and as such, there are all sorts of folks walking around. Occasionally, a few of them shoot you a glance, Karash. It's what you're used to at this point. And again, most of the time when you get these glances, it's more just kind of like wonder or curiosity. It's very rare that it's a negative, like people looking down on you for your race, but those do exist in a crowd of this many people. The one thing you do notice as Tessian concludes his business at the booth and you guys start to head back to the Sword and Flask is you basically see it just before it happens, and it gives you a look, sort of. Somebody with their head down, weaving through the crowds. You can kind of see them as they're approaching, and they bump into you, Karash. And having had the wherewithal to sort of look in advance, you realize that they've put a note in your hand. And they continue on their way towards the station.
He chose the wrong person. All right. I'm going to very casually get Tessian and Lena's attention. Tessian, Lena,
Yes, Crash.
What is it?
we need to go somewhere less visible now.
I kind of look at Tessian, then I look at Crash, and I say, "Okay, let's go." I'll start walking and just try to play it casual. I am gonna go back to the inn, or I'm gonna start heading there.
Yeah, Tessian
and-
will follow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look around for anything that looks like. Yeah, no, you know what? Actually, yeah, let's just keep going. I'm gonna keep looking around, but I'm gonna be casually looking around, not like nervously looking around.
Okay. I will also add, you didn't have a great look at the person. Was wearing a hood. Didn't have a chance to catch the face, but smaller, big dwarf, smaller human. Maybe 1.5 feet shorter than you.
Danny DeVito.
Yes. He wants you to get ready for the games.
All right.
But yeah, not a lot to go off of. Somewhat tattered looking clothes. And that was about all you caught by the time they had already passed you by. As you make your way back to the city on the way to the inn, you're keeping an eye out, kind of looking around. Nobody else seems to pay you a ton of notice. And now that the train essentially departs the station not too long after you leave it, and you can hear it kind of chugging away in the distance. And as you're doing that, and the sun is starting to set here around 6 o'clock, there is not nearly as much foot traffic now. So it's pretty easy to kind of keep an eye on your perimeter and just see if anybody's really paying you too much mind as you go. Because there's still people out and about, but it has definitely dwindled considerably compared to before, both because of the train and the nighttime. You make it back to the inn, and seemingly no one has paid you any mind.
I have a quick question. What is the timeline of this? Like, so could we have made it back to the inn before them?
No.
Or, okay.
It won't be too far behind, as it were, but no.
Tessian would keep an eye out on the rooftops as we're going, because he doesn't know what's happening, but if we need to be someplace private, he's starting to think that Crash saw somebody following them.
Okay.
Because the last time this was happening, there was this, like, somebody on a roof. So,
Yeah, I'll be glancing too as well.
like,
I'll say,
we probably look more suspicious than Crash does at this point.
Doom.
He's all like, "Oh, I'm super casual," and we're like, "Oh, you spooked the shit out of us. What's going on?"
Dark your eyes around. All three of you can make me a perception check.
Ah, crap.
If you'd like. You don't have to. I'm not making you do anything.
Oh no, I'm looking around. 14 again.
Okay.
18.
Of course.
It's the one thing I'm good at.
13.
Okay. The three of you sort of on your guard now. Keep an eye on the alleyways as you go past, the rooftops. Anybody maybe peeking out of windows or slightly ajar doors as you make your way back to the inn. Everything seems to be business as usual.
Okay.
It's the similar impression you've gotten when you first came into the town, which is people seem relatively content overall and going about their way, and they're not unfriendly to strangers. They just kind of like assume everybody's there for a reason and don't pay them much mind. You guys
Okay.
make your way back to the inn.
And we'll head up to a room, I suppose. Doesn't really
Yeah.
matter whose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, we get in, close the door. Crash, what is it?
This. I'm gonna hand you the note.
Well, Tessian takes it.
I'm going to be reading it over your shoulder as
He'll
well.
tip it your way a little bit, like,
Yeah.
let's get in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it say?
Says, something is rotten in Timberbrook. Meet me at the open door, and it's D''HORE. Tomorrow at noon. Don't be followed. It is not signed.
And Tessian's just like, where did you get this, Crash?
smallish person handed it to me as they were walking past. They clearly wanted me to have it.
Have we seen this open door place at all? Like, walked by it?
Or like on a map that we saw earlier.
Testing, I think, saw the map. It was a building that stuck out on it. It's on the southwest side of town. Nobody has asked about it or gotten any information, but it at least rings a bell, yes.
When did it say it was? When was the meeting?
Tomorrow
noon.
noon.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow at noon, okay.
Granted, we'll be ran out of town before that, but hey, we have a chance.
Oh, 100%.
Wait, didn't we get it at 8 at night tomorrow? I thought we got the last train.
Yes, we did. Unfortunately, Isaac and Grail have caused a great deal of disturbance.
Oh.
You won't need train tickets when you're dead.
Maybe not.
So,
I'm not gonna lie. I thought his brother was gonna shoot Grail because he was told not to hurt Isaac. And
Oh,
Grail was gonna be
yeah.
straight dead.
he wasn't going to shoot Grail. He doesn't use guns.
Oh well. Then.
He finds that beneath him. So, as our party reconvenes at the inn with Isaac and Grail basically walking in after this has concluded, we'll leave off there. When we return, the party reassembles, only to split again, perhaps. Who knows? Some information can be exchanged, and we'll have to decide a course of action next time on the Anachroschism.
We actually have to split up, don't we? Because isn't the worker shift at